Hey everyone, today I have for you this awesome Halloween wreath, which I have titled Skeletons in Love. This one was so much fun to make. The top hat, the floppy hat with the purple rose, the string of pearls, and the beautiful purples on black. Oh my gosh, so Halloween beautiful and so much fun. Welcome back to my subscribers and to all visiting my channel today. I'm so pleased you're here. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like my skeleton wreath. And please subscribe if you have not done so already. And leave your comments and let me know what you think of this skeleton wreath. Okay, let's get busy making this Halloween skeleton wreath. Let's look at the items that we will need to create this wreath. Most of the items that I used on this wreath are from Dollar Tree. I have here 2 different colors of Deco mesh. I used 5 rolls of black and 2.5 rolls of purple. I have here 2 skeletons, which I purchased at Wal Mart. I will show you later the skeletons available at Dollar Tree. I just thought the skeletons from Wal Mart were much better looking skeletons, so I decided to use those. They were only $2.98. And they're in the Halloween department at Walmart. I'm going to be using a piece of black felt, which I have there. Actually, I used like 1 1/4 pieces. And I purchased my felt at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to be creating a floppy hat for my female skeleton, and I created that with black felt. It was very easy to make. I'll be showing you that in a bit. I did use some Aleene's tacky glue to put together the 2 hats that I made. I have that purple foam rose, which I got in a package of foam roses at Dollar Tree in the Halloween section. I have here a little strip of creepy cloth because I'm going to be wrapping this around the hat and it's going to flow off of the hat in the back. I'm showing you there. I wanted something that looked tattered and worn with holes in it. And that creepy cloth did the trick, and it can be found as well in the Halloween department at Dollar Tree. I have here some pearls. I had these in my stash. You could pick these up at any craft store, I'm sure. And here we have the pieces of felt. I created this hat by just trial and error, placing the felt on top of the skeleton heads, and I just kept trimming and forming the hat. Just had to make it up as I went along, which I think that is so fun to do. I cut out a tie for the skeleton out of that spider ribbon. I wanted something with a little bit of print on it, and I thought how perfect that ribbon was because it has a spider net, a spider web print on it. I thought that was perfect for the tie. And I purchased that ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using this purple with the black wired trim, as well as this black ribbon. This is 2.5 inch. I'm going to be making a bow with those 2 ribbons there. And as well, I purchased some of this tulle. It has purple glitter spider webs on it. This is going to add a lot of texture and a beautiful touch of purple on the wreath. These are some tinsel pipe cleaners, and I use those for decoration, not necessarily for constructing, but really just for decoration. They're rather flimsy, so I have some Deco mesh tubing there, and there's that creepy cloth that I spoke of. And again, they carry that at Dollar Tree in the Halloween department. I have some black glittery spiders from Dollar Tree, as well as this one with a little bit of purple on it. That's as well from Dollar Tree. A couple of black bats, which I didn't end up using, and a lot of pipe cleaners and some picks. I did use the black and purple picks. And I have a pile of pipe cleaners there, which I started to mention. I always get my pipe cleaners at Hobby Lobby. I'm not a fan of Dollar Tree pipe cleaners for wrapping bundles to put on a wreath frame. I liked a more substantial pipe cleaner. That's my preference. I have there some glue sticks, scissors, of course, and you'll need a hot glue gun as always. And as I said, when I had no kind of pattern to create these hats, so I just drew out first a paper pattern to try and figure out some method of creating these two hats. And so I came up with a circle, which I traced around a big jar lid. I think I used my big Mod Podge lid from my big jar of Mod Podge. And that circle is about around 5 inches. This is for the floppy hat for the female skeleton. Then I just created a rectangular strip to create the body of the hat. And then I created a circle to go on top of that strip. Actually, what I did was I created a circle and I glued it onto that strip, and then I just trimmed around it. And I used Aleene's Tacky Glue rather than hot glue. You can see it needed to be trimmed up, but that's basically the way I created the hat. And as I said, that brim of the hat, or the largest part of that hat, was around 5 inches, maybe a little bit less. I cut a strip of creepy cloth, which I was going to wrap around that hat. It's just kind of trail down the back of the skeleton. And that purple foam rose is going to go on the back of that hat. Now, as for the top hat, that circle for the base of the hat or for the brim was about 2.5 inches. And I cut out a rectangular strip to create the body of the hat. And what you see me doing there is I'm cutting slits in 2 different directions. And this is going to help. They're about maybe a 1/2 inch slit. And this will allow me to sit both of those hats on top of those skeleton heads and press the hat onto the head a bit. I just glued that rectangular piece to form the tall part of the top hat. And I used Aleene's Tacky Glue to glue that right onto the base of the hat, which again I think was right around 2.5 inches. And then that other circular piece, I cut out a circle. As you can see, it's too big, but what I did was I glued it on and then onto the long part of that rectangular piece there after I glued it together, and then I just trimmed around it. And that's as easy as it was to create that top hat. And for the tie, I just kind of trimmed out something with my scissors that looks somewhat like a tie. I was going to do a bow tie, but it was very difficult to put a bow tie on that skeleton because the chin was in the way. So I decided to do a long tie. So that's what the male skeleton's going to be wearing. All right, now we're going to be creating a lot of bundles. I'm going to be creating about 30 bundles. That pretty much fills up that 14-inch wreath frame from Dollar Tree, which I didn't mention that before, but I was going to mention it in a couple of minutes. I have more items to show you that I added on to my items that I was going to use on this wreath. So I cut my pieces of Deco mesh in 12-inch sections. I'm going to be using 2 black pieces and 1 purple, all cut in 12-inch sections with using the scrunch method. I have my finished edges on the left and the right hand side, and I scrunch up all my Deco mesh by just crawling my fingers down the Deco mesh. And then I cut a 10-inch long piece of that tulle with the purple glitter spider webs. And I just set that right on top. Obviously, you'll want the glittery side of that tulle facing up. I cut a bunch of pipe cleaners in half. So there were 15 pipe cleaners. I cut them in half so I would have 30 for the 30 bundles that I'm going to be creating. Now, I don't care at all that this Deco mesh frays a lot because it is Dollar Tree Deco mesh. I'm really fine with that on a Halloween wreath. I think it kind of adds to it, just the same way that the creepy cloth on the hat, on the female skeleton's hat, adds to it. Okay, as I mentioned, I added on some items. I made a trip to another Dollar Tree and picked up a few more items to put on the wreath. I have there a 14-inch wire wreath frame, as I said, from Dollar Tree. I picked up some black roses as well as purple roses. I used 3 roses from each stem or bunch of roses. Now I also picked up some of these black and purple berries, which I thought were really awesome, but I didn't end up using them. I'm going to save those for another project. I picked up some purple mesh tubing to go with the black mesh tubing. I'm going to be creating some bundles with that. This is what the package looks like that has the foam roses. I picked up some more of those. I just love them. I picked up some of these glittery balls, but I didn't end up using those. I'm going to, again, use those for another project. I have here a little bit of ribbon. It's a 1/4 inch wide. I'm going to be putting that around the base of the top hat. I also created a bow, and I added that to the back of the female skeleton hat. I glued together my hat. Now, I don't have the bow on as of yet, but I do add that on. I felt like it needed a little something. I added that on later. But for right now, you can see the creepy cloth, and I just used hot glue to glue that foam rose on there. And I have my tie. I put a little round piece up there at the top to make it look like kind of a little knot on the tie. And here we have our top hat. See the hole I created just by creating that X? It's very easy to do. Just fold your circle in half, cut a 1/2 inch, open it up, fold it the other way, and cut a 1/2 inch, and then you will have kind of an X pattern in the center of your circle, and then you can just, gives you a little room to push the skeleton head up in there. And so I'm going to be putting a little bit of satin ribbon on that top hat, which was a nice finishing touch on that top hat. And here I am getting ready to create even more bundles. So I do two 12-inch length in black and then a 12-inch in purple. So per bundle, I put 2 pieces of black deco mesh and 1 piece of purple deco mesh and 1 10-inch piece of that spider glitter tulle. I use my rotary cutter, but you can use scissors, whatever your preference is. And we have our half pipe cleaners there. And I place the finished edges on the left and the right. And then I just crawl up the center of that deco mesh with my fingers, place it between my index finger and my second finger to hold it there while I create the other scrunched up deco mesh to go in that bundle. Purple goes in the middle. I am just loving these purples on this wreath. Oh, purple is one of my favorite colors anyway, and I love it with black, and I just think it's absolutely stunning. Look how pretty those bundles are. And then we have the 10-inch piece, and I place it long ways, and then I just scrunch right down the center. And this goes right on the top, so that glittery tulle is facing up. Wrap a pipe cleaner right around the center, and you're going to do 30 bundles. Sounds like a lot, but it really doesn't take that long. Now, if you wanted to use a heavier deco mesh, you would probably get by with doing less bundles. But if you're going to use Dollar Tree deco mesh, it's going to require 30 bundles. And here we have our 14-inch wire wreath frame from Dollar Tree. We're going to attach all of those bundles to the second from the outside ring. And I just begin placing those bundles on there. Press it up nice and firm next to the wire. Attach it with a few twists. And I just continue until I fill up the entire wreath frame with those beautiful bundles. Look at the color. Gorgeous. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Just bumped the phone, my camera with my hand. Sorry about that. This creates just a beautiful deco mesh application, and it's so Halloween-y, if that's a word. Not sure. Maybe I just made it up. I'm not really sure. Is Halloween-y a word? I'm not sure. Okay, we're going to fill up that whole wreath frame with those 30 bundles, and here it is. And that just screams Halloween. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Love, love this. This was one of my favorite Halloween wreaths of all time, I think. I just had so much fun making this one. Okay, we're going to create some bundles, ribbon bundles to go on this wreath. So I cut one of each of the colors, one black and one purple. I cut those in 10-inch lengths, scrunch it up in the middle. I do dovetail the ends. After I scrunch up the middle, I wrap a pipe cleaner around it. Again, I use I believe I used a half of a pipe cleaner. I like to try and have enough tail on my pipe cleaners so that when I go to apply bundles or ribbon bundles or mesh tubing bundles, so that I have a good amount of pipe cleaner to hold on to, so that when I'm looking for a wire on the wreath frame, I have plenty of pipe cleaner to wrap around it. Now I'm also going to be making some mesh tubing bundles. I'm just going to create a 4-loop bow by just folding it over in an X shape. Now these do not have to look perfect or beautiful. Just create those 4 loops, wrap a pipe cleaner around it, leave some tails, and wrap the pipe cleaner around that. Now I did 5 mesh tubing bundles and 5 ribbon bundles. And I decided to take some of those black tinsel pipe cleaners, and in the center I just took one of them and wrapped it around a couple times to attach them all together. And then I take a pencil and I just create some curls. So I just coil that pipe cleaner right around the pencil. And with these poking up through the Deco mesh, it really creates a really cool effect. So I like lots of visual interest on my wreath, aside from those 2 fabulous skeletons. And I wrap a pipe cleaner around that. That looks like I used 1/3 of a pipe cleaner there. So I go ahead and I create all my bundles, and so that everything will be all ready to just attach to my wreath. Now it's bow time. I'm going to create a base out of that black ribbon, which is very pretty. It's got a little bit of a glittery texture to it. I'm going to create a 6-loop bow, or 3 loops on each side. I want to say my loops are about 10 inches long and the tail is 10 inches long. I do have bow making tutorials. I put those in the description box. I use the fold over loop method, pinch it in the middle, and that's loop number 3. And I'm going to pull the tails down, hold that nice and tight until I get a pipe cleaner around there to secure all those loops. Again, I have tutorials, slow and methodical and detailed, if you want to learn how to make bows like I do. You're just going to twist that pipe cleaner around the back. Now all those loops are secure. My tails, I do angle my tails for the bow. I'm going to be using that purple ribbon, which is very pretty. That's trimmed in black going down the sides. That's going to be the top tier of my bow. It's going to look very, very pretty on that wreath. And the combination of the black ribbon with the black and purple is so awesome. And we're going to leave a 10-inch tail there. Pinch it and start folding the loops over. Now these loops are going to be a little bit smaller, around 8 inches. And that's going to rest right on top of that black ribbon base. Now this ribbon, it is Dollar Tree ribbon, but it suits the purpose. I mean, you only use a Halloween wreath for, 2-3 days? You don't need, the most high quality ribbon. And if you take care and store the wreath well, it will be beautiful for next year. I suggest you don't put it in the attic. My recommendation is if you have a wall that you can place your wreaths, maybe in your garage, or if you have a basement. If not, I suggest that you put them on a clothes hanger and put them in the back of your closet. And then next year, when you take the wreath out, it will be beautiful. I have 2 loops on each side, or 4 loops altogether. I created 1 single loop going right down the center. And then I'm going to feed that tail right through that center loop, marry it up with the one on the bottom. And I'm going to angle those tails. And this ribbon's going to look so pretty next to that other black ribbon. They're both very shimmery and glittery. Super pretty. I really like this ribbon. Despite the fact that it's very thin, it's somewhat compliant. It's, like I said, it's good. It's good for this, this particular wreath. Now we're going to take those 2 and put them together. Match up the center, press it together really firmly. Bring the pipe cleaners around the back that were on the back of that purple bow. And I just wrap those around the base, twist it in the back, and now those 2 bows are one. And so pretty. I'm going to be placing this bow at around 1 o'clock on that wreath. Super pretty. I love it. Okay. Here we go. Now I'm going to show you, this is the Dollar Tree somewhat equivalent, but not quite the same size of a skeleton, but it doesn't have the features, and it's just not nearly as good looking of a skeleton as the ones that they had at Wal Mart. So, like I said, most of the items that I used for this wreath were from Dollar Tree, but I did prefer the skeletons from Wal Mart. Now I have that satin ribbon on there. Now you can see I added the bow there. I love it. It looks really pretty. Okay, now we are going to put that hat and dress up our skeletons. Oh my gosh, this was so fun. I just love this part. This was just so fun. As I've said probably 10 times now, but it just was. Okay, so I glued together my pearl in the 2 ends of my pearls in the length that I thought I wanted to be able to wrap that pearl around, that pearl strand around the skeleton's neck about 3 times and have them dangling down the front of the female skeleton. So I did that, and I took a little hot glue to try and keep those pearls in place a little bit. And here we have the tie for the male skeleton. Now I wanted to put a little bit of that satin ribbon going around the neck because after all, this is a necktie. So I put a little bit of that ribbon to go around the neck. I glued the tie on. Both of the hats are on now. Now I place my skeletons in position. I have the female skeleton with her arm around the back of the male skeleton and vice versa. Then I took hot glue and I glued their hands together. They're holding hands there. After all, they're in love, remember? See them looking at each other lovingly? I have a good imagination. Okay, so I wanted that purple flower to show, so I made sure I put one right on the side there. I thought that was a really nice touch. I have the pearls, and she also has her leg draped over her man's leg. Oh, look how much in love they are. This is weird, but so fun all at the same time. My skeletons in love. Oh, they're awesome. And there we have it. Now, I just took some hot glue and at different places, wherever the skeletons were pressed up against the deco mesh, I just put a dab of glue just to keep them in place. You could take a pipe cleaner if you were worried about them coming off. I honestly don't think that they will. I think I have them pretty well adhered on there. I just did that with hot glue. Their hats actually touch up against the deco mesh as well, which helps to secure them in place. Now I'm just taking my mesh tubing bundles and my ribbon bundles and my little pipe cleaner curls, and I'm just going to place them around that wreath. After I'm happy with where I place them, I just go ahead and reach my fingers down through the deco mesh with the pipe cleaners and twist them right around the wreath frame. I went around the back of that wreath and I snipped off. There's a lot of pipe cleaner ends on the back there. And I just cleaned up the back of the wreath and with some of the pipe cleaner ends that were short, I just pushed them back through the deco mesh. I also took a pipe cleaner and created a hanger while I was in the back there. And again, I used my wire cutters to snip them off. Now, I did go around as well with scissors and just trimmed up any of the crazy deco mesh hairs, if you will. That's what I call them. You definitely will have frayed deco mesh on this wreath, but again, I say I don't mind that at all on a Halloween wreath. Now I'm just going to place my roses around. I used 3 black and 3 purple. I also used a couple of spiders. I thought really should have a couple spiders sitting on. I believe I used 3. And after I was happy with where I placed that, all those items, I added a few of these picks, which added just another pop of purple. And I just hot glued those in, as well as the roses. I just hot glued those on. And I placed that bow at 1 o'clock. And again, just reaching my fingers down through the deco mesh, finding a wreath wire, and I just adhered that bow right to the frame. Love, love, love this one. And you can see that bow up there at 1 o'clock. And there you have it. One last look. I hope you feel inspired to make this one. And I hope you have as much fun, there's that 1 o'clock position of that bow, making this as I did. Please consider subscribing. If you have not subscribed already, give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you think of my skeleton wreath. Okay, until next time, you all take care.